and welcome to C40I's podcast, North of Ordinary, where we shine a light on ordinary people doing extraordinary things in the Hull and Humber region. Today's subject is the power of commitment and how people get involved, because I'm joined today by Johnny Bottomley and Emily Collins. Johnny is the Partnership Development Fundraiser for Dove House Hospice, and Emily is a Dove House Hospice Ambassador. Now, if you talk to anybody in the Hull and Humber region and you mention Dove House, I think everybody will say, yeah, I know what they do, end-of-life care. But there's more to Dove House than that. And that's what we're going to talk about today, about the community getting involved and how businesses get involved with Dove House, how they can help, but also how Dove House can help businesses. So Johnny, Emily, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for taking the time to chat.
Thank you for inviting us on and having the opportunity to spread the awareness.
Excellent. So, Johnny, we'll start with you. A bit of brief history about Dove House. When did it start? Why did it start? How did it start?
Well, I suppose I'd invite you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine you or your loved one is at the doctor's and you get that sentence that nobody wants to hear. You only have so long to live. What do you do? How do you feel? What are your plans going to be? What's going to happen to your friends and family? What's the day-to-day thing going to look like? That's where we come in. Mm-hmm. So to describe what Dove House does, I use 3 words: care, dignity, and support. So we care for people with life-limiting illnesses, not just end of life. We support family and friends through the toughest of times, and we ensure everybody retains their dignity. So the hospice movement started in the 60s, and it came to Hull late 70s. Dove House Hospice became what we know in the early 80s, and then since there, we've been looking after people of Hull and East Riding, looking after their end-of-life needs, but also leading up to that point.
So how long has the hospice been in Hull? When are you celebrating any particular milestones with that recently? Or
we're just over 30 years old.
Excellent.
And we are based down Chamberlain Road. And to use our facilities, I suppose there's 3 criteria. 1, you need to be diagnosed with an end-of-life condition. 2, you live in Hull and East Riding. That goes all the way to Goole, Howden, past Driffield, up to Bridlington, all of the East Coast and everywhere in between. And 3, you need to be over 18.
And how many people can you cater for on site? It sounds a bit strong saying cater, wrong.
I
but
know what you mean.
Yeah.
So our bedded unit, the Wilberforce unit, we can take up to 20 people. That fluctuates. We have rooms of 1, wards of 4. And in terms of family support, I don't know the exact number, but we've got a good team of counsellors and social workers that looks after patients, but also all the family members pre, during and post bereavement. Mm-hmm. We've got a lot of community groups that focus on how to live with life-limiting illnesses. So some of them focus on craft activity, the Thursday group, Live and Well group. We have a new group that's come online recently that focuses on gardening, and they're designed to take these patients and take them out of the paradigm, so the negative paradigm. So rather than thinking of all the negative, whilst they're doing this, get out of that headspace. The counsellors are there and saying, what went right for you last week? What are you grateful for at the moment? What are you looking forward to next week? And give them a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
But no, there's more community groups. There's the Friday Friends, which is a social group for those that have lost loved ones. There's a bereavement cafe on a Wednesday that we have at the hospice. We have the counselling sessions, but we also have child bereavement, because what we've seen over the past couple of years has been a bigger demand for child bereavement, where we traditionally look after people that are over 18. We saw this demand and we thought, is there anything we could do?
Yes.
Set up a trial program. We went to a school and said, do you have any bereaved students? They came back with 8 straight away. So we took them through this 4-week program. At the beginning, people were the kids were scared and They had some issues, and by the end of it, it worked. They were able to learn the skills. I don't know about you guys. I never learned the skills to deal with bereavement as a kid, and a lot of these children have lost people suddenly. So deaths, murders, suicides, and it worked. And we managed to get the grant funding to continue that work. And 5 years on, it's seen over 1,000 kids with 2 members of staff. And if we had 2 more, we would see just as many. The demand is there. So there's a lot of what we do, rather than just the end of life unit. We do take people on respite as well. Oh. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions, or there's 2 misconceptions that Dove House has. Firstly, the range of services that we provide across the board, life-limiting illnesses, as well as family. It's not just end of life. The therapies, that's a brilliant one. We work with a lot of outpatients. So the physio side of things, I always thought physio was a lot more physical, moving around. A lot of people come to Dove House with a complex set of illnesses, and one commonality is trouble breathing. So we have a breathlessness, fatigue and anxiety clinic, which looks at how people breathe, how people can move better, the different techniques. It sounds very simple, but actually it's something that we found to be very, very troublesome. We have occupational therapy, so people living with the life-limiting illnesses at home. We want to make sure that their life, their quality of life around the house, getting in and out bed, going to the bathroom, making a cup of tea and some food. So we do assessments at our facility at Down Chamberlain Road, where we can give certain equipment to make their life better. We do. Where we can push them towards other services within the city and region, we do. And then the third type of therapy is the complementary therapy. So it's not just the physical side, but it's also the mental side. So they go on to the inpatient ward, they do massage, Reiki, aromatherapy, but the outpatients come into 2 beautiful therapy rooms we have on site to have an hour to really look after themselves, but also for the carers. And a lot of the carers are their other halves. And if somebody's been given a diagnosis of 8 months, for example, their loved ones put their life on hold. A lot of the time. A lot of supporters I speak to that have used the complementary therapy, they said it's a godsend because they're not looking after themselves. So for an hour a week, they come in, massage, aromatherapy, anything. And sometimes they sit in the chair, sometimes they lie in the bed, they'll laugh, they'll cry, they'll have a therapist to listen to them. And they can focus on themselves because they are going through, the family members are going through this as well as the patients. And so that's the big misconception is we do so much and we also look after family members as well as people living with life-limiting illnesses, as well as what we're known for, the end-of-life care we provide.
And I didn't know anything, the other services that you've just mentioned there that you provide. Is the awareness around that something that you need to really get out there, you know? It
is, and that's where our ambassador scheme, newly focused, newly created, really comes in. And Emily's doing a great job with that, and she's one of our first official Dove House ambassadors.
Are you now, Emily? Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How did you get involved then? How did you hear about it?
Yeah, so as Johnny mentioned, the Ambassador Programme is newly launched this year to basically just raise more awareness of the hospice. And I have quite a personal connection to the hospice myself, and so I kind of just follow the hospice on social media. I saw it advertised and I thought, do you know what, that's something I'm going to get involved with. So we've got a team so far. I think there's about 6 of us. We've got a couple more hopefully coming on board toward the end of the year. Our goal basically is just to, raise awareness, get into schools, businesses, community groups, and just shout about the hospice and talk about all those things that people don't know that the hospice does, and kind of share how the hospice can help the community and also how the community can help the hospice as well.
Excellent. And did you know about all these other services when you first signed up to be an ambassador?
To be honest, I've learned so much since becoming an ambassador. So as I mentioned, I have a personal connection to the hospice myself, which is that my mum was actually cared for by the hospice, and she spent, kind of the last couple months of her life in the unit on Chamberlain Road. And we kind of experienced so many of the services that Dove House offers whilst she was staying there, but there's so many other things that it offers, beyond what even we experienced.
Yeah.
So it's just, fantastic now to be able to kind of give back after the hospice gave our family so much as well.
And so it's not just about shaking a charity tin at people.
No.
Do you commit to so many days that you give to the hospice,
So there's not kind of a commitment of days, but it's basically as and when we can, offer our time and as and when we're needed. So, kind of during the summer, there's obviously a lot going on with like school fairs and community events and things like that. So it's kind of been quite a busy period for us at the moment. And then again, up towards Christmas, we're expecting hopefully to be quite busy around then. And like you say, it's not just about shaking a fundraising tin. Part of what we want to do is to raise awareness of how people can support and fundraise for the hospice, but it's also about raising awareness of those services. And, as Johnny mentioned, there's children's bereavement services that so many people don't know about. There's family support, there's support for people, living with life-limiting illnesses. So we want to raise awareness for all those things and get people the help that is there and kind of waiting for them.
And where can people find out more about? Is it online that you can find out more about the support, or can they just give you a ring? Can they turn up, or
reach out to the fundraising department? It sits under fundraising, but it's certainly more awareness. And have a look on our website.
Yeah, there's tons of information on the website. Everything is kind of listed on there, from the services that are available, how you can access the services, and also how you can support. It's all on the website, and there's obviously the social media pages as well. So it's good to follow those and just keep up with different groups that are launching. They're always posted on the social media, so people can just keep up with what support is available.
Yeah.
And I think one thing about the ambassador scheme as well is it's as involved as you want to be.
Right.
So rather than saying a commitment to number of days, it's these things are going on. Can you make it? And can it work around your schedule? So if people are working, then maybe some schools might not be appropriate, but actually some of the summer fairs that are on an evening or weekend, if you can attend. So it's trying not to be too cumbersome and laboursome. It's trying not to be too cumbersome or labouring, but it just works around people's schedules.
Excellent. So people really need to see the wider picture. Going back to what I said at the beginning, I think a lot of people know about Dove House and end-of-life care, and everybody's like, I know it's there, but hopefully I'll never need to use it. Mm-hmm. But it's to know about what else is around that core support, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as well it's about, like you just said there, kind of, we all hope we'll never have to use a hospice, but I think it's just about breaking the stereotypes and the stigma around what hospice care is. So, speaking from my experience with my mum being there and kind of our family experience, my mum was a nurse. She had cared for people her entire life. She was so passionate about looking after people. And she was actually diagnosed with cancer in her late 30s, and went through chemo for 8 years and various other treatments. But when it came to kind of, thinking about the end of life care, despite the fact she had been a nurse her entire life, she was still really nervous and unsure about what the best option was for her, especially because of her age. She was only 47 when she passed away. So she was kind of, there was this stereotype around hospices that it was for elderly people, that it wouldn't be the right place for her as kind of a younger person with a family. But the more we learned about Dove House and kind of the information we got, she kind of realised it was the best place. And the moment we walked into Dove House as a family, it was just a wave of relief. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a scary place. It didn't feel, sad. It just felt like a weight was lifted from our shoulders. As I say, she'd been going through cancer treatment for 8 years. And, through that time, kind of me, my sister and my dad, we'd become carers for my mum, looking after her, helping her with treatment. And so stepping into the hospice, it kind of just allowed us to become a family again. Yeah. We were no longer patient and carers. We were just a family. The carers were there. They looked after my mum. We knew she was having the best possible care. So we could just make memories. And that's what the hospice is all about, is making memories, helping people kind of, have those last months, years of life with dignity and doing all the things that they want to do. They've got a gorgeous garden. You can go sit out in the garden. You can take pets in, which is amazing. That was something we did. My mum loved her pets, so we took our cats in.
Part of the family, aren't they?
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. She had complementary therapies, Reiki. I remember she had her nails done one day. There was a spa lady who came in. And it was over Christmas as well, actually, and they put on Christmas lunch and they let us decorate my mum's room for Christmas. So, it isn't a sad place. It's not, something that should be a taboo thing for people to be scared of. It's a home away from home, and it's, exactly what we needed as a family in those difficult months.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Emily. I know I've had friends who have used the hospice themselves, and they said the minute, like you said, they've walked through the door, and it wasn't just the person that they were caring for, it was the whole group of you that they were caring for. Mm-hmm. And it was like, when, the patient ate, when was the last time you ate, they said to the wife, kind of thing. And she's like, well, yeah, I haven't thought about that. I think it must have been nearly 48 hours since, with everything happening. And they were like, come on, let's get you something to eat. And, and they brought the dog in that was allowed on the bed with him and everything. And it was just sort of like so nice just to, like you say, make those memories in those.
I think if I can pull up on that, I think it's normal.
Yeah.
I think it's the normality. Usually when you go through clinical situations, that it has to be very clinical, whereas what we try to do are two things. Firstly, treat everybody as individuals. Mm-hmm. They're not an illness, they are an individual right up until the end, which means they have likes and dislikes. Mm-hmm. And to focus on those little moments, which actually are normal moments.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about food, we one of the stories that I absolutely love, and I think this encapsulates such a small thing, but means so much. Mm-hmm. There was a chap, his name was Frank, and he was with us for about 2 weeks. He was late 70s, and he was really, really polite to all the members of staff. He was wonderful, but his family said that he was quite grumpy when he came in, but we didn't know it. He was really lovely. Got to second week, and the dinner ladies went round and said, Frank, what would you like for dinner? And he just stared at them, awkward 3 seconds, and just said, have you got any tripe? It's like, no, we don't, but let's see if we can find some. So they phoned up loads of butchers. I think they found one in Bilton somewhere, sent somebody from fundraising while the chef stayed behind and Googled how to cook tripe.
Like, I've never cooked it before.
Onions and gravy stunk the place out, apparently.
Yeah.
So anyway, got it on the plate, presented it to him. His eyes lit up, and he was like, Bayek, and it was fantastic, and left him with it. Came back about 20 minutes later to clear the plates, and there was still quite a big bit there. I said, Frank, was everything all right? Was it nice for you? And he said, I'm so sorry. I've had 3 bites. It was marvellous, but I just couldn't eat any more. I said, you enjoyed it, though? I said, it was fantastic. Later that day, he had 2 sets of family and friends, each visiting. Guess what was the first thing he told them about?
You never guess what I've had for lunch.
It was tripe and his family, and they said he really kind of his mood changed, and it turned out to be his last meal.
Really?
So for his family and friends to see him in that way, right at the end, just as something so small and normal as a bit of tripe, a bit of food that he wanted.
Yeah.
They're the sorts of moments that happen at the hospice constantly because of the wonderful staff that work there.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Come on. Bring it back together. Come on, Tina. Come on. So, yourself as a fundraising partnership, what you do, we talk about what businesses can do to how they can help Dove House, monetary-wise, time-wise, whatever. Yeah. But we can flip that as well, because Dove House can help businesses in so many ways.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm not a corporate fundraiser as much as partnership development fundraiser. And the difference is it's a two-way street then. What I like to do when we start to engage with the business is to ask questions and find out what are the motivations. You know, why do they want to support us?
Are you just ticking a box, or you know, kind of thing? Or
everything's relevant.
Yeah.
Because the more I can understand means the more that I can help them achieve whatever it is they want to achieve. It could be from a philanthropic purpose. They've got a close connection, so they want to make a donation or want to do something to give back. It could be because a company has strong core values of community engagement. Yeah. So again, we can look at ways to harness that. It could be because they want their staff to engage with each other. They might have an office and a shop floor. They might have people that work remotely. So actually, they want to bring team in for team building and things like that for people to feel proud about the organisation, the company. It could be because they have ESG social objectives that they need to, I suppose, tick the box. Yeah. But it's something that they care about to do. I can help them reach those objectives. It could be from a marketing perspective. We have a lot of events that reach a lot of people. Fundraising, not patient care, but from a fundraising perspective, which has a certain value to it. So we do have sponsorship opportunities, but also some of the events and the engagements can create some really good content for social media and things. So there's a whole host of reasons why a business or a company might want to get involved. So my role, taking a step back, is to identify things and come up with a solution, come up with a plan, whether it's a one-off event, whether it's them taking part in one of our events or me helping them to create it. Maybe it's a whole year of activities doing different things to engage with their staff, with their customers, their clients, just for themselves. Corporate volunteering. We have a lot of companies that have volunteer days that they just don't know how to use.
Yes.
We've got the retail side, the fundraising side, the clinical, the facilities. So we have a lot of opportunities, and we can make it very easy to facilitate a volunteer day, but also report on it as well, because that's a tick box for ESG. Gift in kind. There's lots of different ways for businesses to use their products and services to help out. So there's quite a lot of different fundraising events, initiatives ways for people to get involved with.
And what events have you got coming up?
Well, the next big one is It's a Knockout event. So that is a fantastic event for families, for businesses to put a team in between 6 and 10 people. They take on the inflatables. Now, I'm not quite old enough to remember it on TV. My uncle was in one of the teams.
I am old enough to remember it.
You must have seen my uncle on there. He was on there, and it's inflatables at Chamberlain Road at the hospice facility on the field at the back, and you're against 2 other teams. So you can, if you've got a large number of people, you can put 3 teams in. You're against them. You're against the other people in the morning or the afternoon, and it's so much fun. There's inflatables. There's water. There's dressing up like a big raptor or something, and it's just fun. Really. So that's taking place on the 12th of September.
Excellent.
We've got the night walk later that month in September.
I've done that before.
Yes,
that's fun. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, go down to, is it the same route you go down to?
No, slightly different route this year. I can't remember the exact route. I believe we still come back via Vicky Dock and through town. We started at St Stephen's, start and finish there. So it's a big loop, but with slightly different direction. So
I think you've got Caitlin and myself as the poster girls.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I was also on that picture, but they cut me off.
Oh, Sorry.
So we've got that. We've got Make a Will month coming up in October. So that's where we've got seven solicitors, kindly giving up their time so that people can make a will. And instead of paying the solicitors, they make a donation to the equivalent amount to Dove House. So the way I love that campaign, because everybody needs a will. Mm-hmm. You haven't got one. Well, you're going to have them by the end of the year.
You need to get one, Tina.
Okay.
We
Make
see it
the most of this opportunity.
Especially at my age.
We see it on both ends. So we get requests from patients to have a will written that day, because they need to have it done that day. So it's a bit of a rush. But we see it on the other side from the family support team, the impact that not having a will can have on the family. It tears some families apart, especially when money's involved and when wishes aren't adhered to, because the rule is if it's not written down in a will, it won't happen. So for us, this initiative helps people get their affairs in order well in advance, whilst also benefiting because of the generosity of the solicitors involved. Last year we did Wills Days. So that's where a solicitor dropped into a business or a co-working space, took appointments. Everybody got a pack. We help the business out with some marketing. Participants get a pack. They book an appointment. They write their will. And it's so easy for businesses to take part in and help Dove House at the same time.
I think I need to book one of those days. Definitely.
Let's get it booked in.
So what's your most popular event, number-wise?
Number-wise?
Or maybe to raise the most money throughout the year?
Oh, yeah, I suppose it fluctuates. I know Strictly Come Dancing, that raised over £50,000 this year, so that was really successful. Every single year, more people get behind it. It's always full.
Would you do it?
I don't know if I would do it, but
Emily?
would you two do it?
Watch this space, maybe.
I'd love to do it, but I don't know if...
Come on, Tina, we'll both do it together.
Shall we?
Let's do it.
Entrance in October. So
excellent.
So make yourself known, and we'll put you on the list, and you'll be contacted.
Excellent.
I've got 2 left feet. I don't know if I can. I'm not a good singer. I'm not a good dancer. I mean, probably I'm the best candidate for it, because we do like to take people that can't dance and move them forward. But I think you two would do a fabulous job.
Well, we'll do it if you do it.
Oh, there you go. There's a challenge for you, Johnny.
Do it.
Let's see. Watch this.
Let's see. That's non-committal. And I've done a couple of times I've done the Get Caked at Sledmere.
Yes.
I've been involved with that.
So that's fantastic. That's our version of Tough Mudder. So we organise that at Sledmere House, 5 miles. So it's a bit more accessible than the usual 10. We make all of the obstacle courses, including those skips at the end.
I got stuck in the skip at the end on a couple of months ago when it was on. Yes, I was doing really well right up until the end, and I was known as Skip Lady after that, because I just couldn't get.
Skip Lady.
I'm Skip Lady. I couldn't get out of the skip. I was too short. I think, to get.
But you got your cake at the end.
I got my cake and I got my medal. So yes,
Fantastic.
It was wonderful.
And we've just had the pub walk as well. So that started at the University of Hull, went through Cottingham, up to Skidby, and then back again. So was that about 10 miles? And that raised well over £20,000.
Brilliant.
So that was sponsored by Kevin's Doors and Adams and Green. So again, we've got these sponsors that come on board that help pay for the events themselves, so that all the money that can be raised can be put towards where it's needed most, and that's for the care and support that we provide.
Yeah.
And is all the money for Dove House, does it all come from fundraising, from the shops, you don't get any other support?
Well, we get 10% from the government.
Is that it?
It's about £11 million a year. It's primary care, and only about 10% comes from the government. Wow. The rest, the national average is 30%, but we only get 10%.
Why don't you get 30%?
We don't know why. It's just the way it works. It's very complicated. It's not my bag, but
it's like a postcode lottery, I think, of funding.
It's so complicated. But the rest of it, we have 34 shops. That brings in an income. We have a cafe on site, a community cafe that anybody can walk into. It just had a refurb and it's really lovely. We have 2 nurseries, 1 on site. We have a lottery that we organise ourselves, not just for us, but also partner charities up and down the UK. So that brings in an income. But we also rely heavily on income from fundraising. And largely that comes from the community, the business community, people doing events and challenges, community days, coffee mornings, everything. We are here to serve the community, and we wouldn't be here without the support of the community. So everybody that takes part, that buys a badge on reception. You always take our badges at Easter and Christmas, and the kilogram Easter egg that you raffle off, and the hamper at Christmas that you raffle off. Every time somebody buys a ticket, jumps out of a plane, does Strictly, you're helping us to raise the funds needed to provide the care and support to your neighbours, your family, your friends, your co-workers.
And if you had an unlimited pot of money, what else would you offer at the hospice if you could?
That's a good question. I know that there's different directions, and I'm certainly not the one to look at where to go. But I suppose it would be more therapies, more community groups, more beds, more people to just anything we can grow. We've talked about child bereavement. We could have more people doing that. I think what we're very good at, especially if you look at the building and the shape of it and all higgledy-piggledy, is listening to what the community needs, adapting, changing. It's built upon one building, the next bit, every few years, and I think that's what's key, is to listen to what's needed. That's why we've got these new groups coming online and started, like the gardening group, anxiety, fatigue, breathlessness clinic, all of those things. We're listening to the community. So I'm not 100% sure of where that would take us with unlimited money, but I do know it will be right at the heart of what the community needs.
Would you outgrow Chamberlain Road shortly?
Possibly. There's areas to develop, certainly, and that's something that we are looking into, developing the site, because we have identified a change of need, and it is something that we are going through the process of looking at developing the site further. And I can't talk too much about that because we're not at that stage.
Yes.
But we are looking to the future. We are looking at how we can change to meet those needs. So again, using a phrase we've used earlier, watch this space.
So we're coming to the end of the conversation, but I wanted to know, what's the most rewarding part of your role?
I think it's meeting supporters. I meet along the way, like Emily, like I did a Teams meeting yesterday. I did a presentation for about 100 people for an organisation, and it's listening to their moments. We spoke earlier about it's the little things, it's the moments. And this lady, she said that her brother was in with us just before Christmas, and she said, as odd as it sounds, he said he had a wonderful time. He was coming up to the end of his life. I think the morning of the day that he passed away, and he said he's had such a lovely time there. Another person, it was a case of I asked, what was your special moment for you? She said it was 2:00 in the morning, and she'd been up for 36 hours. She was by her husband's bed, and she said one of the doctors came in, looked at her. She felt dishevelled. She felt tired. Came in, gave her the biggest cuddle, little kiss on the cheek, and said, "You must be hungry. I'll make you a sandwich." So the doctor went out, made a sandwich, come back and gave it to her. And it was the little care, the little bit of humanity, the personalisation, the connection that was made. Hearing those stories, it makes me feel proud to work there.
Excellent. And you're looking forward to developing the ambassador's role and getting stuck in?
Absolutely.
And spreading the word of what, more about what Dove House can offer.
Exactly, yeah. As I've said, obviously, the hospice just made such a massive difference to, my family's life. And so I just want to spread the word about how the hospice can help other people. I don't know what those last couple months would have been like for us as a family and for my mum if it wasn't for Dove House. We created so many special memories, whilst my mum was in the hospice. And I just want other people to be able to have that. So I'm really looking forward to kind of, spreading the word more and just doing my bit to kind of give back to the hospice for everything that they did for us.
Excellent. And I suppose it's the community that helps Dove House provide that. You know, it's Dove House that provide the care, but it's the community that helps them
Oh, do you know what? The
give that care.
individual, I mean, you see businesses from an organisational point of view, and you have the core values that push them to help the community, which is great that's been set up. But it's really the individuals within that drive it. And again, you're asking what's one of my favourite parts of the job. And it's seeing those individuals like Emily, like I could name 100 people in organisations that rally the troops, so to speak, that do activities, engagement things, promote, get involved with such passion. And that's really what helps us. And to see people's selflessness is truly inspiring.
It's amazing. You do a fabulous job. You really do. And don't know what we'd do without Dove House. Really don't. And thank you, Emily, for being one of the first ambassadors for Dove House, and looking forward to seeing you grow the role.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for
Thank
having
And for
us.
sharing your stories. It was very personal. I really, really do appreciate it. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. If you want to get in touch with Dove House, where do they go?
I suppose, Johnny Bottomley, I'm on LinkedIn. Our website is probably the best place. It has all the information and contact details.
Excellent. Lovely. If you like today's story, then check out the other North of Ordinary podcasts, wherever you usually download your podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.